Long ago, in the heart of a sun-dappled forest lived a rabbit. His fur was the color of burnished copper, his eyes shone like polished jet. And although he was small, he was quick-witted and kind. One day the rabbit was hopping through the trees when he came across a clearing. And in the center of that clearing stood a mighty lion. The lion was big and muscular, his mane a cascade of midnight black, his claws sharp as scimitars, but his face was contorted in pain. He roared, a sound that echoed through the trees, rumblings that shook the very foundations of the forest. The rabbit, unafraid, hopped right up to the lion. "My lord," he said, his voice clear and ringing, "what troubles you so?" The lion opened his eyes, surprised to see such a tiny creature so close. "I am cursed," he rumbled, "and only the rarest flower, the sky blue poppy, can break the spell. But it grows beyond the river of Styx, past the bramble bridge in the shade of the silent oak, and I am too weak to get there." The rabbit looked at the lion, his heart filled with sympathy. "Do not despair, my lord. I will bring you the flower," and with that, the rabbit was off, disappearing into the undergrowth. When he had gone, the lion closed his eyes again, a low growl rumbling in his chest. To be cursed by the very flower he had meant to steal, and wear as a crown, was a humiliation he could barely bear. Still, he had no choice but to wait for the rabbit to return, or to die slowly and painfully of his terrible curse. Meanwhile, the rabbit was making good time. He raced across the forest floor, leaping over fallen logs and squeezing through narrow gaps between the trees until he reached the river of Styx. Here, instead of going around, the rabbit did something quite unexpected. He took a deep breath and dove right in. Now, the river wasn't actually very wide, and as soon as he was in, the rabbit could feel the current pulling him along towards the opposite bank. Soon enough, he was out of the water, shaking himself dry and heading deeper into the forest. Not far ahead, he heard a voice. "Who goes there?" The rabbit froze. There before him stood an enormous badger, his teeth like chiseled ivory, his claws sharp as fish hooks. "It is I," said the rabbit, "a humble rabbit who seeks the sky blue poppy." "The sky blue poppy," the badger snarled, "it grows in my garden. And no one, small or great, gathers flowers from my garden without paying the price." Before the rabbit could say a word, the badger charged. He lunged and he bit, and the rabbit barely managed to scramble out of the way. Then the badger scratched and he clawed, and the rabbit hopped and he dodged. It was a wild dance, the badger powerful but clumsy, the rabbit fast but scrappy. Just when it seemed the badger would catch up and tear the rabbit to pieces, the little animal darted behind a nearby bush, and from there, seeing the badger lumbering away, the rabbit made a dash for it, racing all the way to the edge of the bramble bridge. He hesitated for a moment, then he took a deep breath and dove right in. Thorns tore at his fur, and he scraped his paws on the rough stones. But finally, he was through, stumbling onto the other side, shaken but unharmed. Just ahead, the rabbit could hear the soft susurrus of leaves. And when he pushed aside a curtain of ivy, he saw the most beautiful tree he had ever seen. Its bark was the color of moonlight, its leaves the color of a summer sky. Beneath the tree, bathed in the dappled shade, grew a single sky blue poppy. The rabbit hopped closer and carefully plucked the flower, cradling it gently in his paws. As he turned to go, he heard a voice like grinding stones. "So, you have found the sky blue poppy." The rabbit whirled around. Standing before him was a giant serpent, scales like polished emeralds, eyes like golden coins. "It is mine," hissed the serpent. "Give it to me." The rabbit took a step back. "No, this flower is for the great Lionheart, he who is most in need." The serpent snarled and struck, but the rabbit was too quick. He dodged the blow and raced away, darting between the trees, leaping over fallen trunks. The serpent slithered after him, weaving between the trees, his voice echoing through the silent woods. "Stop, little rabbit, stop, and give me the flower." But the rabbit didn't stop, and just as the serpent was gaining on him, he burst out of the trees and into the open. And there before him, basking in a pool of sunlight, lay the lion. The rabbit ran forward and placed the flower at the lion's paws. The lion opened his eyes and the rabbit held his breath. Slowly, very slowly, the lion began to change. His skin, which had been the color of sun-baked clay, now became as white as fresh fallen snow. His mane, once black as night, now shone like polished silver. His eyes, which had been amber, now sparkled like twin sapphires. The transformation complete, the lion rose to his feet, taller and more majestic than before. He looked down at the rabbit and roared, not a roar of pain, but a roar of triumph. "You have saved me, little rabbit. What can I do for you?" The rabbit looked up at the lion, his heart brimming with joy. "Oh, my lord," he said, "release the animals you have imprisoned in your cave. They are innocent and have done nothing wrong." The lion thought for a moment. "You are right, little rabbit," he said at last. "I acted hastily and selfishly, thinking only of myself. From this day forth, I swear to rule with wisdom and fairness, never forgetting the valuable lessons you have taught me." And so the lion did as the rabbit had asked. He freed the badger, the serpent, and all the other animals he had imprisoned, apologizing for his mistakes. From that day on, the forest was a happier place. The lion ruled with kindness and justice, always remembering the rabbit's cleverness. The badger and the serpent became the lion's counselors, their wisdom and experience proving invaluable. Even the timid animals felt safe under the lion-heart's just rule. And whenever they met the rabbit, they greeted him with gratitude and respect. Many years passed, and the rabbit, though old now, was still quick-witted and kind. One day, he sat with the others in what was now known as the Forest Council, a gathering of all the animals, big and small, to discuss matters affecting the forest. The rabbit sat beside the lion, their unlikely friendship a testament to the power of understanding and respect. Suddenly, a young deer, her eyes wide with fear, leapt into the clearing. "There is trouble at Whispering Falls," she cried. "A band of humans is coming, armed with axes and saws. They mean to cut down the great oak and destroy our homes." A murmur of fear rippled through the assembled animals. The great oak was the heart of the forest, and without it, the animals knew they would scatter, leaving the forest vulnerable to those who would exploit it. The lion, his face grave, rose to his feet. "We must act quickly," he rumbled. "Badger, you are strong and wise. Serpent, your cunning is unmatched. Deer, your speed is unmatched. Rabbit," he turned to the old rabbit, "your cleverness has saved us once before. What do you suggest?" The rabbit, his eyes shining with thought, spoke up. "I say we do what we do best. Each of us, we use our strengths to protect what is ours." The animals nodded, understanding dawning on their faces. They were different, yes, but their differences were also their strengths. Together, they were stronger than any one of them alone. As the sun set, casting long shadows through the trees, the animals fell into position. The badger led the way, his massive form a wall against the coming danger. The serpent followed, his sinuous body weaving through the undergrowth, his sharp eyes watching for any sign of trouble. The deer were next, their live forms moving silently and swiftly through the trees. And bringing up the rear was the rabbit, his small but nimble body dodging between the roots, his keen mind alert for any solution to the unfolding crisis. Together, they were ready to defend their home.